Now, let's get the conversation started. There is no gainsaying the fact that Nigerians have been living through one of the worst economic conditions in recent history. Over the past couple of years, for instance, things have gotten really out of hand with inflation above 34%. People have been bending over backwards to make ends meet, and the almighty January 2025 is here, and we all know that January always feels like 2 months rolled up in one. In fact, this is how unusual this particular January is from any other Januaries. This is the first time in however years, I can't really remember, we're going to have 4 Fridays in 1 month. And of course, this goes without saying that the economics of starting a year has always been rather difficult. So there are certain expenditures that are not only essential, but are really part of the difficulty for most households in the country. School fees, rents are usually renewed this time of the year. So we want to talk about this and see how you are adopting to some of these financial constraints, because so many households have been forced to diversify their income. You see fathers and mothers working overtime or perhaps taking odd jobs just to make ends meet, because that rent has to be paid, that school fees has to be paid, because there is no way around it. So let's talk about it. How are you making things, connect at this time, and what are you going to be doing to make ends meet? We want to talk about this and hear your experiences, especially because it is January, the festivities are over, and now it's the hard way to living our daily lives going forward, especially with every economic reality pointing in the negative so far for Nigerians. I mean, the energy cost is slowly coming down marginally. However, this leaves much to be desired on the part of Nigerians who are barely breaking even, civil servants, people in business, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about it. How are you going to cope with those rent payments that are due? In fact, with so many landlords now raising their prices in a very ungodly manner. I mean, I can say that and get away with it because I have a feeling that my landlady is not necessarily watching the program right now. But let's talk about it. Those school fees, the bills are just staring you in the face, waiting to be paid, because by next week, the children are going to go back to school. And I suppose in the next couple of weeks, the schools are going to start calling you, demanding for the payment of those fees. So let's talk about how you're coping with those bills. You can reach us on the 2 numbers that are showing on your TV screen right now. You can also reach out to us on WhatsApp. Send those messages. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this one. It's all about bills, and more bills, especially for the breadwinners, especially for the providers in the homes who have to deal with this reality, but also people who don't have families but have dependents, right? You are the rich uncle in the family or the not so rich uncle in the family, right? And you have to deal with calls from your relatives who want your help to either pay the fees or pay the rent or make some purchases and things like that. January is usually tough. That is the collective agreement that we all share. But more importantly is that there is the fact that the economy is not doing particularly very well. It hasn't been doing so for quite some time, and it has been worsened by subsidy removal and some of the reforms that are being implemented right now. But what do you make of how tough the situation is, and what you're going to need to do to cope with this reality? Give us a call on Daybreak Interactive. We would love to hear from you. Our first caller is in. Hello, good morning. Who is on the line?
Good morning, Abdullahi.
Good morning, Shatima. It's good to hear from you this morning. How is Maiduguri this morning?
Maiduguri is cool, but Alhamdulillah.
Good.
Which is dust, but we are coughing.
Right. Okay, let's get started, Shatima. The bills are waiting to be paid. What is January usually like for you, and what can you tell us about how tough these times have been?
But Abdullahi, Alhamdulillah, we thank God. Even though the economy of the country is not friendly, as you rightly said, And our people, I don't know, they have become a one-kind people. They have no mercy on their hearts. You can see a landlord had built a house, or he have inherited a house for the past 20 years, but yet he was charging people based on on the present economy. I don't know. So you see, and people were not even sympathize with the lower earners. What they after is by the time click, they want to collect all all the fruit of your labor. So this thing we don't know. We are just begging people to temper justice with mercy, because this house had been built for a long time. But you are charging people on the on the standard economic of the day. And our marketers, they have to understand that one day you will leave this hole, and this accumulative wealth that you are accumulating, you will leave it. You go with that white cloth of debt. I think whatever money that you have accumulated, no matter how millions you have, it is only, I think it will not worth more than 5,000, 10,000. It will bury you. So you have to temper people with mercy, because this economic hardship that we are in, I'm very sure it is unartificial, because it was people that created it. Abdullahi, people, they will go to the farm and buy food crops before it was harvested. They will harvest it and they will bucket it and they will put it in the store. They are waiting things to be expensive for them to sell. Look at this kind of wickedness that we're doing to ourselves. And that brother that you are trying to exploit, it is somebody's brother. And indirectly or directly, it is also your brother. So we have to temper things with mercy. Please and please, this country is belong to all of us, and it is a blessing for us. We should temper brotherhood. And you see now you can just imagine some schools. Some schools they are trying to also increase the school fee. Look at all these things. Because of this hardship, you cannot have mercy on people, and you are trying to increase your school fee. And some schools were agitating that you have to buy books from them, and these books, they have doubled the price of it. You see people facing more difficulties in this country. So government have to step government have to step in and do something. They have to step in and do something. Honestly speaking, I think this price control have to come in for just poor person to have space of breathing.
Right.
So please, people, they should temper justice with mercy.
Right.
That's my take.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Shetima. As always, a pleasure to hear your thoughts on this one.
You are welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And listen, I understand what he's saying, but also significantly, I think if you look at the variables at play here, right? I know people have this habit of, especially the rental apartments, for instance, right? Those accommodations that people pay, wherever it is, landlords do have a habit of unreasonably just increasing their tenants' fees and things like that. However, you see how bad the economy is doing, and people have a tendency of saying, if this is my only asset and this is my only source of income, for instance, I'm going to the market spending X amount of money, maybe I need to jack it up so it can also complement my expenses. But that is not to justify the unwarranted increase that we're seeing across board. But I believe we have another caller, so let's listen to the caller's thoughts. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Abdullahi Ahmed.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Who is on the line?
You are speaking to Shamaki from Akwanga, Nasarawa State.
Shamaki, good morning. Happy New Year.
Same to you, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's good to hear from you again. Go ahead, please. We're talking about
Yeah, you
how
see,
difficult January is and all the expenses that people are dealing with. What do you have to
in
say?
fact, very unfortunate. You see, the cost of living has took so many Nigerians backwards. Before, what 10,000 naira can buy now is talking about 30 to 40,000 naira. I was telling a friend, I said people can no longer buy a trouser or shirt to wear. People are thinking about how to survive, just to eat food. You go to the market, you'll be confused what to buy and not what to buy, and you are in the market to buy so many things. So the question we are asking, where is the governance here? So at least if government are coming with a policy that people will render themselves in a very sympathetic situation, so I don't think there is government again.
Mm,
So something needs to be done because you know what expecting
mm,
school fees, rent. Unlike me, my rent has expired.
mm.
So you see, so many challenges here and there.
And,
So
and,
if I
and
have
how do
an
you usually cope with these expenses? I know this year, for instance, it's going to be higher than most of the experiences we recently had, whether it's 2024 or 2023 or 2022, because the data shows that it is quite high on the inflationary side. But how do you usually cope with, for instance, paying these bills
that
at the beginning of the year?
that's why I say, unlike me, let me just put a case study to myself. My rent has expired, school fees. My wife should be delivering by next month. So you see, the challenges are too much for me, and there's no cash on ground, and I have to source for all these things because it may come today, it may come next tomorrow. So these are the challenges. January is a tough month. Everybody knows about it already. So this is the situation we find ourselves. There's nothing one can do. That is why if you only depend on salary, believe in me, Abdullahi, you will be in trouble. You must engage yourself one way or the other. We are salary earners. Unlike me, I'm a salary earner. I don't have any means except monthly salary. So this is the situation. In
Yeah.
fact, it's not easy.
Yeah, I
So
can
that
I
is
can
it.
I can totally understand where you're coming from, Shamaki.
Of
Thank you
course,
so much. Yeah, thank you
we
so
need
much
good
for
intervention.
sharing this experience with us, and we wish you all the best of the year. Hopefully, January will be kind to all of us in terms of our experiences. Thank you so much, Shamaki. Right, and you get a sense that a lot of people are going to record this. But the thing that's very striking about this conversation is no matter how hard you you experience things like this, no matter how you see it coming. I mean, even when you prepare for it, you get hit really hard by the reality that, no matter how ready you are for January, it just proves certain things wrong. I don't know if I'm just exaggerating it, but that's what I get from some of our callers this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Morning, how are you?
Happy New Year to you. Who is on the line and where are
Morning,
you
how are
calling
you,
from?
sir?
Who is on the line and where are you calling from? Hello, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I said, who is on the line and where are you calling from?
Okay, I am Mohammed Bello calling from Mr. Local Government in Bauchi State.
Oh, Mohammed Bello from Bauchi. Go ahead, please, Mohammed.
Yes,
We're talking
exactly.
we're
Okay.
talking about how difficult the cost of living is in the country, but how especially January is unique. What can you tell us about your experience with managing your
Exactly,
bills?
it is very, 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 very difficult indeed. Because even yesterday, I was trying to give my wife 25,000 naira to budget it for us on how we spend it before some time. She said she will be able to budget that amount. I said, okay, since we will not be able to budget, she is afraid of putting something which I will even suspect the money goes somewhere else. She was unable to budget 25,000 naira for us. I took my time to do that in my position as an economist. Then she appreciated the way I budgeted it, which she could not do it herself. Look at this issue. The women are more economical spending. And they cannot budget 25,000 naira. For God's sake, she's afraid to even collect the money and put it into use. I just took my time to do it myself. And that 25,000 naira with my only 5 children who are very young. And I was able to only prepare a budget of lunch for 8 days for us. Only lunch. Which is, there is no meat, no fish, nothing, no even soup, stew for the food. We have to eat it with dishiri. So what I would like to suggest for this government is that there is need for trade-offs. There is need for trade-offs policy. There is need for trade-offs. Yes.
Yeah.
Because government to be able to manage and navigate trade-offs effectively, develop and implement effective public policies that balance competing goals, balance and interests of the citizens.
Right.
Yes. Not always be directing their own policies to themselves. Look at, for instance, this issue of 10 billion rent and furniture allowance to the Senate President and the National Assembly Speaker. For God's sake. How would an ordinary citizen like me feel? While all of us went to school and we know all these type of things. If anybody comes out to talk to you, they will be harassing him, telling him so many things, and people of their own political party will harass you, they will tell you this and that, you are going against their own wishes. So it's not fair.
Yeah.
People will not feel comfortable with their policies. Yes.
Yeah, and I do agree with you, Mohammed. Thank you so much for your take on this one. And I'm particularly appreciative of people willing to share their personal experience. It's not an easy task to put your business out there in the world. But also, the last point he made, I think, stands out. The fact that the people that represent us in government, our leaders, are not on the same page with us. Because neither the president, nor the governors, nor the members of the state or National Assembly pay any of their bills out of their own pockets. We basically feed them. We basically pay for their rent. And he was alluding to the allocation of 10 billion naira to just some 4 individuals, the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives and 2 others, as has been reported in the FCT's budget. 10 billion naira allocated for rent and furniture. My goodness, they had almost a similar thing back in 2023. And in 2024 allocation, do they need furniture every other year? So these are some of the things that do not necessarily connect with Nigerians who are feeling like they've been taken advantage of. Let's speak to our next caller. Hello, good morning.
This is Abasekong calling from Gombe State.
I beg your pardon, come again.
Abasekong calling from Gombe State.
Abasekong from Gombe.
Yes, calling from Gombe State.
Happy New Year, Abasekong. Go ahead, please.
Sincerely speaking, I want to appreciate Comrade Shetima. He has spoken my mind outrightly. Everything that was in my mind, he talked about it. But all I just want to add is that the government of Gombe State should assist us. Because when you talk of the cost of living, how it affects the common man, how it affects me in general or in particular, is that when each time I go to the market, this same market where the rich, the poor all gets to, no middle class anymore. When you get to the same market, something that is sold for 3,000, you go to the same market, one person is selling 3,000, another person is selling 4,000, another person is paying 5,000. And there are people that earn less than $1. People that sweep the road, they pay them 10,000, and they still go to the same market, the main market in Gombe here. How can these people pay school fees? How can they pay the bills accrued? And they have increased school fees. Shetima have spoken all, so I don't need to repeat to make a repetition of what he has said. I really appreciate Comrade Shetima. He always speaks my mind. But the government of Gombe should do something. Pick sachet of milk. Some places as pick milk. You go to the market, you see it for 200, some 250, some 300. Pick milk, sachet, not even tin milk. Haba, where are we heading to? What is the problem?
All right.
My brother, thank you for this station.
Thank you so much,
Ahmed,
Abaseko. We appreciate you as
Abdullahi,
always.
God will bless you.
Thank you so much, and may He bless us all.
The entire team of this for the probity, for probing into real what journalism is all about.
Right.
Thank you this morning.
Thank you so much, Abaseko, and may 2025 be kind and gentle on all of us. Thank you so much for calling. Listen, it's quite the predicament. I remember a colleague who last year, when the December salaries were paid around 21st or 22nd, and she walked up to me and said, "Is this a trap? Why am I getting paid this earlier?" Well, I said, "Our Christian colleagues are going to experience Christmas." And, you know, she just did the maths, and he said, "Do you know how long it's going to be before the next payday, right? And, you know, for people who don't even earn salaries, how are they going to make ends meet?" And that's a big question. Even if you have some little money, you factor in everything that's happening with the economy and realize that the odds are just heavily stacked against you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the program. Who is on the line and where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning. My name is Musa. I'm calling from Mubi, Adamawa State.
Musa, how is Mubi this morning? I suppose it's very cold.
Very, very cold. You have been to Mubi before, I guess.
Oh, no, I'm an Adamawa boy, so I'm very familiar with Mubi. So please, go ahead.
Well.
Go ahead.
Okay, with respect to the issue being discussed on the cost of living, the truth is that things are not going to get easy this coming year. I'm not a prophet of doom, but looking at how things are going, even with the reduction in the cost of fuel as everybody anticipated with the coming of Warri, Port Harcourt Refinery and Bua towards the end of 2025, it is obvious that there are a lot of factors that will affect the cost of living and the cost of goods and services in the market. Now, let's look at the transport sector particularly. Even if the cost of petroleum product happens to come down to 200 naira, believe me, cost of transportation and cost of goods and services would not likely go down. Now, let me give you an instance now. In the past 2-3 years, a car, for instance, a common Starlet is being sold at 2 million, 2.5. Today, as we are speaking, it's around 3 million, it's around 5 million, 6 million. Right. This is on one angle. Talk about the spare parts. Everything has skyrocketed. And believe me, the Nigerian market is not a market that things are being regulated easily. Even if prices of these things comes down, you hardly see the businesses reflecting on those prices. Now, our president in the last media chat have made it clear to Nigerians that he is not for price control. I had the previous speaker say the Gombe State governor should do something about prices of things. This one selling this price, this one selling this price. The truth is that Gombe State government have no power to make price control. We need to tell ourselves the truth. Price control is a national policy. And the president have come clear to tell us that he is not interested in price control, that the market forces of demand and supply should play out for prices to be stabilized. So when you look at it critically, we are just in for a bumpy ride. We're in for a very, very difficult ride this year. And a lot of things need to be put in place. You see, people are talking about all these prices. We need to look at the energy. When we talk about energy, we look at the aspect of petrol itself. We look at also the aspect of energy. That's the power.
Right.
We don't have power in this country. We can't produce anything. So the truth is that, Mr. Moderator, we have issues, so many issues in this country that we are in for a very, very difficult ride 2025. We just pray and hope that God will find it, will make it easy on us to go through it. But it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult to live in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that analytical take of yours, and I do really appreciate your insight on this one. Thank you so much for calling, and amen to your prayers about God making it easy for us going into the year 2025. Thank you so much, Musa, calling in from Mubi there with some analysis, and I think that is something that Nigerians need to open up their eyes to. right? The fact that the president was very clear, he's not for price control. And without price control, without any form of regulation, the market forces and whatever, those economic terms that many people don't really understand, because one thing I can tell you is that Nigerians only look up to their government and to God in difficult times, right? The government needs to do this, and at the end of the day, may God make it easy for all of us, right? But I think it's very telling. The administration is targeting 15% this year in terms of inflationary figures. Right now, we're at over 34%, 34.6% as of the last data released by the Bureau of Statistics. 15%, the economists say unrealistic, maybe 24, maybe 25% down. But to Musa's point, exactly, there are other factors other than just the price of PMS determining some of these inflationary figures, right? There's also the fluctuation of the exchange rate, for instance. And we know how import dependent our economy is. There's a lot of importation that is determining the prices of some of these commodities. And if the Naira is not doing well against the dollar, you can imagine how much more difficult life is going to be this year for people who are below the ranking in the pyramid. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Daybreak Interactive. Who is on the line and where are you calling from?
Okay. Please, I want you to comment on this cost of living.
Yes, go ahead, please. Your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Aziz. I'm calling from Lagos City.
Did you say Hafiz?
Yes, I'm calling from Lagos City.
Go ahead, please. Hello, Hafiz, go ahead.
Okay, so what I want to add that about the cost of living in Lagos. Some area in Lagos, when you want to buy food stuff, you see some people and they're just putting money, and the amount they buy it is not what how much they are selling it. Because we are seeing that the fare was dropped. So all these things are supposed to be effect on this food stuff. So I don't know what is happening. These problems for all these people that are selling market to us. Because now they are saying fuel. The fuel price was dropping. So why can't the food stuff not drop?
Right. Yeah.
Even the transport is it going? So that's my concern.
Yeah, and I quite appreciate you for pointing that out, Hafiz. Thank you so much for calling. And you know, it was the point that Musa was just making, and I was just reiterating about how sometimes the correlation between the price of petrol, for instance, or energy costs is not directly can directly impact the price of goods and services, but also when it comes down, even if it's marginal, you don't see a dip in the pricing, right? And then you get told that there are other factors involved, the exchange rate, for instance, and so on and so forth. So prices usually go up in Nigeria rather easily, but coming down, that is a problem. And that is why you see the organized labor saying maybe we need a minimum wage that is hinged on inflationary figures. If inflation goes up, then the minimum wage should also go up accordingly so that it can adjust to the purchasing power of most workers in the country. Hello, good morning.
Morning, how are you? Sorry for coming by the second time.
Oh, you wanted to add something? Who is calling back?
Yes. Something, another thing comes up which I am very interested in talking to on it.
Go ahead.
So the issue of this price control, as people had been looking for, it will be very difficult to have price control in Nigeria. For instance, where during the Buhari administration, fuel was put at a certain price, and people, when they go into the petrol station to buy, they will put you the required liters you ask for, and they were not able to change the price on their pump. So they will take calculator and calculate the amount they want you to pay, not what was written on the machine of the dispensing machine. So people, if people are not ready to boycott whenever this kind of things happen, then price control in Nigeria will not be possible.
Yeah.
Because buyers are always ready to pay higher price rather than going home without any goods.
Right.
So, and the other issue, just as recent as Peter Obi raised in his speech this time around, where he asked for the reduction in governance expenditure on the governance system. So unless all these kind of things are addressed, and we have to move into industrialization, because the supply of goods has to be in abundance, not in short, where we want a price control to occur. So we, without a production of what we are required to support us, there is no way we can have this price control. And checking the activities of holders again. Look at after every harvesting season of palm produce, people will drop into the market and buy all the goods and put in their stores as holders.
Right.
So all these kind of things, without no price control will be possible in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Thank
you so much for calling back again. Is that Mohammed from Bauchi or Abasekun from Gombe? I can't make it out. But thank you for calling back again. And it's actually very important. But also there is something that needs to be pointed out when it comes to enforcement in this country. I think the jury is out. The performance is less than satisfactory when you talk about regulatory agencies keeping all of these sectors of the economy in check and making them play by the rules. That in itself is something that has been underperforming for quite some time. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Interactive. Who is on the line and where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Who is on the line?
It's Muhammad Mafindi.
Mohammed, where are you calling from, Mohammed?
I'm calling from Shani.
From Shani?
Shani in Borno State.
Shani in Borno State. Mohammed, good morning. Please go ahead.
Okay, just I want to greet you, bro.
Oh, thank you so much. And Happy New Year, Mohammed. I appreciate you for that. I think this is the first time this happened on Daybreak Interactive. I thought Mohammed would have a lot more to say given the topic of conversation. But we appreciate you either way. Let's have a conversation about the cost of living. It has been with us, especially over the past couple of years. Things have gotten somewhat worse. None of it is a bit of an exaggeration, but we are trying to gauge your thoughts about how you're coping with this spike in cost of living in Nigeria generally. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, how is it?
Fine, thank you. Who is on the line and where are you calling from?
My name is Yao Lawal from Katsina State.
Yao Lawal from Katsina. Good morning, Yao. Please go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, Yao Lawal Binda from Katsina State.
Go ahead, Mala Yao.
Yeah, you see, exactly. Yes. What I want to say is about the issue of cost of living.
Yes, Yao, go ahead. Just turn down the volume of the TV set and
see, actually, what Shetima has said has already said almost everything in my mind. But what I want to add is that, you find that somebody was even saying that the price control is a national policy. So if that is the case, at least we need, there is a need for the for Nigerian government to come in and do something about the prices, because things are going higher and higher almost every day.
Right.
Yes, but look at what the president said. He said he didn't believe in price control. I think the government should come in. Otherwise, things will continue to rise, even in this new year, 2025.
Right, right. Yeah, thank you so much for making that point again, Manayao. And I think
that's my take.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much for calling, and do have a lovely day ahead. Yao calling from Casino there, reiterating the need for the government to actually step in. Yes, I understand that the Tinubu administration's philosophy, especially against the backdrop of what he had to say about his economic philosophy, what he believes in that media chat. And one, I think you can give the president kudos for being honest about what he believes. He's not, there's no double speak there. He's very frank. He said it in plain, simple English. He does not believe in price control or ceiling or regulation or things like that. He believes in a free market system. But at what cost? That is the question. At what cost do we play this thing out? How many families do we want to see go under before we say, okay, maybe we need to do something about these exorbitant, unaffordable food prices, unaffordable rent, unaffordable school fees, unaffordable medical cost, and so on and so forth. There's so much that Nigerians cannot afford right now. And it's not luxury. And I understand that when the proponents of the administration are trying to say Nigerians have been living this fake life, I think the Buhari administration also parroted that same idea that we're living above our means. But I don't think you can place that on Nigerians. You can place that on the people who have led the country down this path. But you can't blame it on Nigerians, because for the most part, Nigerians are trying to make ends meet. And I think that you can play this out, right? Because even in developed economies, they always find a way to either through either subsidies or some sort of tax holidays and things like that, so that they can, cushion the effect and the impact on the average Nigerians. Look at America, the biggest economy in the world, for instance, one of the biggest free economy in the world. What happened when COVID hit, right? They were giving people, stipends. They were giving people handouts so that they can make ends meet. So government doesn't have to be a bystander or spectator on this one. It's a regulator. It's the one running the economy, and therefore Nigerians are crying out. And I think we have two callers who are calling back now. Shetima is calling back. I suppose he has more to add. Shetima, good to hear from you again. What more do you have to say?
Good morning, Abdullahi. I want to talk about people understanding about price control. We understand if the Mr. President say he do not believe in price control, that is agreed. That is his own view. We appreciate. But what we are after for, there is a lot of things that government will do to cater this price that going off. And I can remember when I was in primary school, there was what we call a cooperative. Why government not bring cooperative back? This cooperative, when I was in primary school, with the small change that my father gave me, I will go to the corporate and make my shopping. I buy things at a cheaper price. Why can't they bring that is to bring relief to the people? If at all they are serious. You see, and what Mr. Our president, the president of the Labour, the contestant of the president in the platform of Labour, have said they should cut down the government expenses, so that it will reduce the cost of the running government. But these people, they are enjoying themselves. They are swimming in the ocean of luxury, and they leave the common people suffering. This is not the way the government is running. Please and please, we are praying for God to touch their hearts, because the suffering is too much. People are suffering. People are suffering in this country. People are dying for just hunger. Even a madman, even an animal in this country knows that the system have changed, and people are suffering. Please and please, we are not. If at all the price control will not be possible, let them revive the cooperative, right, so that government should bring goods at the subsidized price and sell to the people. We are not after these palliative that they are giving to us. The palliative is enough. It's enough. People are dying in the way of that palliative, the collective palliative. Look at the stepiness. Right. How much people are dying. A lot of people die. They should revive the cooperative for us to have a relief. That's my text. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much,
Abdullahi.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling back again, Shatima. And yeah, I understand where this frustration, this feeling of frustration is coming from. And it is something that is common in terms of every other Nigerian's analysis of the status quo. Even people who don't understand how the economy works, they just know that their representatives in government are not doing enough to address it. And you know why? It goes back to the point that was made earlier. Because they're not in the same shoes as we all are, right? Because we're paying for their expenditure, we're paying for their rent, we're paying for the fuel in their cars, we're paying for their living. The opulence that they are experiencing right now is something that is coming out of public coffers at the detriment of most Nigerians, because I have a feeling that if we're all in the same boat, right? I mean, surely not all fingers are equal, but if they really can feel the impact as we all are, if this is their daily experience, they would be motivated to do something about it. Even if it's not price control, they will do something about the economy that will make life much more bearable for Nigerians. Let's speak to our next caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
This is Abaseko calling back.
Okay, three times now.
Sincerely speaking, Abaseko. Sincerely speaking, I just want to add that in Delta State, the landlords, they cut costs. They said, okay, since it is like this, they reduce their prices. They say, so that people will not die. Now, what I was saying, I heard what a caller was saying. He was saying that Mr. President has said he's not going back on price control. Yes, look at what Mr. Shetima said. They should reintroduce, what do they call it? These
cooperatives. Yeah.
I remember I was in Medugri when I was in primary school at Abaganaram Primary School. We enjoyed cooperative. I enjoyed cooperative. I school at Medugri. I've been privileged to go around Nigeria because my dad was a railway worker. My dad was a railway worker. So I've stayed in a lot of, even in Gombe, why I came back to Gombe because we lived there. We also stayed in Jos. We stayed in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, Ibadan, most of these places. So they were price control then, and they were also government, what do they call, cooperative, where you can go and buy things. Why not introduce that cooperative? And the governors of states, they have the prerogative of power to introduce price control. If Mr. President says he doesn't want, the governor can institute his own laws. Why are we deceiving ourselves? Yeah. Why are we deceiving ourselves? We are deceiving ourselves. The governor, I remember a lot of governors, they kick against Mr. last regime. Wike was one of the most powerful governors. He did not follow them. Amechi also kick against them. So what are they saying? Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Abaseko, and I appreciate you for calling back again. And you can definitely tell how personal people feel about this. And if we're going to take a poll today about public approval, I think it's going to be quite damning, to say the least, about what people think of how the government is managing or presumably mismanaging the situation. People are less than satisfied with the federal government, with the state governments, with the state legislature, with the National Assembly, because it is telling on their lives and their livelihoods. And that is the reality. No politics, no spin involved. It's just pure, reflection of what is actually happening on the ground. And that is why this conversation is all the more important going into the new year. It's just 3 days in, and Nigerians are already reflecting on how this might even be harder than they experienced from last year, with increased rents, with increased school fees, and all of the bills that they have to deal with. Let's speak to our next caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. It appears we have lost that connection. A lot of more options are available to you. You can reaches out on WhatsApp also. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Abdullahi.
Good morning. Who's on the line and where are you calling from?
Yes, you are speaking with Abdurrashid Ibrahim Bello from Yola, Adamawa State.
Abdurrashid Bello, how is Yola this morning?
Fine, Yola is fine.
Well, which part of Yola, if you don't mind me asking?
Yes, I just called to make my contribution. I have the two previous speakers talking about.
Yeah, go ahead, Abdurrashid.
Hello?
Yeah, Abdurrashid, I said go ahead.
Yes, I said, just from my own understanding is that since the president said he is not going to implement or happy with the price control, but sometimes it's the government that makes powers and delegate powers to whom they feel like. We are happy about the local government autonomy so that the government will touch the life of the people. But when the governor and the vice president paid him a courtesy call, he was saying that the governors that had the power, say what he was pleading with them.
Right.
So, like, issue of the autonomy and the cost of living of people is going to be increased. Why? Because the government removed the fuel subsidy, and the government does not reduce the cost of governance, and they have increased the cost of governance. How does a common man will have a simple life? There must be some rules and regulations that we're going to put in place. The government control people, the government control our capitalists and the big men that are doing business. So how does they want the common man will have a small cost of living in the country?
Right. Thank you so much, Abdurrashid, for calling. And I think your point stands true, and it echoes what most people have had to say this morning about whether the government is doing enough. When I say the government here, I think Nigerians are generalizing both the federal and at the sub-national level what they think the performance is like. They feel like they have been left alone to fend for themselves in ways that suggest that the government is not necessarily interested in doing its best to make life a lot more bearable for Nigerians. Thank you so much for the calls. Thank you so much for your takes. Very interesting and engaging. I think this is the first time we have had 3 people call back just to reiterate their point. Let's take a look at some of the comments on WhatsApp before we wrap things up. It says, good morning. It is not funny at all. The bills have to be paid, school fees, rent, and so on. The cost of living has taken Nigeria backwards. The challenge is not easy for us. This is coming from Jamil Gidado, or Gidigo, I beg your pardon, from Yola. Thank you so much, Jamil, for your contribution on this one. All right. It's been a long conversation. Nigerians have had their say. Hopefully, it will spur the people in power to do something about the situation, because for the most part, I think people are saying things are already out of control. Thank you very much for your take. Thank you very much for your contributions. Daybreak returns in just a moment with more.